Before he died, Ray Charles finally named 9 female singers he secretly had affairs with. Ray Charles changed music forever. But how much do we really know about the man behind the legend? Beyond the awards, hit songs, and worldwide fame was a private life surrounded by mystery, complicated relationships, and stories that still spark debate today. Some women inspired his greatest moments, while others became part of secrets that followed him for decades. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the female singers most often linked to Ray Charles and separate fact from fiction. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which name surprises you most. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Remembered Lives channel for more untold stories from music history. Nancy Wilson. Nancy Wilson was one of the most elegant and respected voices in American music. Born in Ohio in 1937, she built a remarkable career that spanned more than 5 decades, recording over 60 albums and earning 3 Grammy Awards. Unlike many singers who relied on vocal power alone, Wilson captivated audiences through emotion, sophistication, and storytelling. Whether performing jazz, pop, soul, or blues, she possessed a rare ability to make listeners feel every word she sang. By the early 1960s, she had become one of the most admired female vocalists in the country, performing alongside many of the biggest names in entertainment. As her fame grew, Nancy frequently moved within the same musical circles as Ray Charles. Both artists were celebrated for their artistry, professionalism, and ability to connect deeply with audiences. Over the years, rumors occasionally linked them romantically, but no credible historical evidence has ever confirmed a serious affair between the two. What is documented is their mutual admiration and respect during an era when Black artists were breaking barriers throughout the music industry. Unlike many celebrities whose personal lives became public spectacles, Wilson maintained remarkable privacy. She focused on her craft and avoided the scandals that often consumed other stars of her generation. While the entertainment industry was filled with stories of addiction, broken relationships, and financial collapse, Nancy built a reputation for stability and professionalism. That discipline helped her remain relevant through changing musical trends and cultural shifts. Her influence extended far beyond record sales. She became a role model for younger performers, proving that success could be achieved without sacrificing dignity or artistic integrity. Audiences appreciated her intelligence, grace, and unwavering commitment to excellence. When Nancy Wilson passed away in 2018 at the age of 81, she left behind a legacy defined not by controversy but by achievement. Her story remains a powerful reminder that true greatness is measured not only by talent, but by character. Decades after her debut, her music continues to inspire listeners who value authenticity, elegance, and timeless artistry. Margie Hendrix. Margie Hendrix was one of the most important, yet often overlooked voices in the history of soul music. Born in Georgia in 1935, she rose to prominence as a founding member of the Raylettes, the legendary female vocal group that accompanied Ray Charles during the peak of his career. Possessing a powerful, emotionally charged voice, Hendrix brought intensity and personality to every performance. Her contributions helped define the sound that made Ray Charles one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. Among her most memorable achievements was her role on the classic hit "Hit the Road, Jack." The playful vocal exchanges between Hendrix and Ray Charles became one of the song's defining features and helped turn it into an international success. Audiences immediately noticed the chemistry between them, and that chemistry eventually extended beyond the stage. Unlike many rumors surrounding Ray Charles, biographical sources have documented that Hendrix and Charles were involved in a romantic relationship during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Their relationship was complicated from the beginning. Ray Charles was married, his career was rapidly expanding, and the pressures of fame created constant tension. Margie eventually gave birth to a son, Charles Wayne Hendrix, who was later acknowledged as one of Ray Charles's children. However, the relationship never provided the stability she hoped for. As Ray's fame continued to grow, Margie found herself struggling to build a separate identity outside his shadow. The years that followed became increasingly difficult. Personal hardships, substance abuse issues, and declining career opportunities slowly eroded the momentum she once enjoyed. While her talent remained undeniable, the music industry often failed to recognize her contribution. By the early 1970s, the woman whose voice had helped shape soul music was facing immense challenges. Margie Hendricks died in July 1973 at only 38 years old. Her life ended far too soon, but her influence remains undeniable. Every time listeners hear those unforgettable recordings with Ray Charles, they are hearing the voice of a woman whose talent helped create music history even if she never received all the recognition she deserved. Esther Phillips. Esther Phillips lived a life filled with extraordinary talent, remarkable resilience, and heartbreaking struggles. Born in Texas in 1935, she began performing at an incredibly young age and stunned audiences with a voice far beyond her years. At just 14 years old, she won an amateur competition that launched her professional career under the guidance of bandleader Johnny Otis. Her early hit Double Crossing Blues reached the top of the R&B charts, making her one of the youngest stars in the industry. Unlike many singers who enjoyed brief success, Phillips repeatedly reinvented herself. Throughout the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, she moved between blues, jazz, soul, and R&B, demonstrating a versatility few artists could match. Songs such as Release Me and I Love Him and her acclaimed version of What a Difference a Day Makes showcased her ability to transform emotion into unforgettable performances. Critics often praised her for singing with a level of honesty that felt deeply personal. During the height of her career, Esther frequently crossed paths with Ray Charles and other major figures of the era. Both artists understood the pressures of fame, touring, and life within an industry that often demanded everything from its performers. While rumors occasionally connected their names, there is no verified historical evidence proving a significant romantic relationship. What is certain is that they belong to the same generation of groundbreaking black artists who reshaped American music. Unfortunately, Phillips battled personal demons for much of her life. Substance abuse and health problems repeatedly interrupted her career, limiting the recognition many believed she deserved. Despite those challenges, she continued performing and recording, earning respect from musicians who admired her perseverance. When Esther Phillips died in 1984 at the age of 48, the music world lost a voice unlike any other. Though she never achieved the commercial success of some contemporaries, her influence remains profound. Many artists who followed borrowed from her emotional style, ensuring that her legacy would survive long after the spotlight faded. Her story is one of brilliant struggle and a determination to keep singing despite life's relentless obstacles. Dinah Washington. Before Aretha Franklin, before Diana Ross, and before many of the stars who later dominated popular music, there was Dinah Washington, known as the Queen of the Blues. She was one of the most influential female vocalists of the 1950s. Born in Alabama in 1924 and raised in Chicago, Washington possessed a voice that combined power, elegance, and emotional precision. Whether performing jazz, blues, gospel, or pop, she delivered every lyric with unmatched confidence and intensity. By the time she reached national fame, Dinah had become one of the most successful black female entertainers in America. She recorded dozens of hit songs including I Be Get Lost, This Bitter Earth, and her signature classic What a Difference a Day Makes, which earned her a Grammy Award in 1959. Her success opened doors for countless female singers who followed, proving that black women could achieve mainstream commercial success without compromising their artistic identity. Throughout her career, Washington worked alongside many legendary musicians, including Ray Charles. Both artists shared a passion for musical innovation and commanded enormous respect within the industry. However, many of the dramatic stories connecting them romantically are based on speculation rather than documented fact. While they certainly knew each other and moved within similar professional circles, there is no credible evidence supporting many of the sensational claims often repeated in modern online content. Behind the glamour, Washington faced personal challenges, including multiple marriages and the pressures that accompanied stardom. Yet she remained fiercely independent and determined to control her own career. Her strong personality earned admiration from some and fear from others, but few questioned her talent. Tragically, her life ended far too soon. On December 14, 1963, Dinah Washington died at just 39 years old from an accidental drug overdose. The loss shocked the music world, ending one of the most remarkable careers of her generation. More than 60 years later, her influence can still be heard in countless singers who followed. Dinah Washington remains a symbol of strength, artistry, and the enduring power of a truly unforgettable voice. Marianne Fisher. Marianne Fisher may not be as widely remembered as some of the era's biggest stars, but her contribution to the rise of Ray Charles and the development of soul music was significant. Born in Michigan in 1923, Fisher possessed a rich, expressive voice that blended gospel intensity with jazz sophistication. During the 1950s, she became one of the earliest female vocalists to work closely with Ray Charles, helping him bridge the gap between rhythm and blues gospel and the emerging soul sound that would later change American music forever. Before the Raylettes became famous, Marianne Fisher was often the female voice standing beside Ray on stage and in recordings. Their musical chemistry was undeniable. Audiences were captivated by the call-and-response performances that became a hallmark of Ray Charles's live shows. Songs such as I've Got a Woman and many early concert performances benefited from Fisher's ability to match Ray's emotional intensity note for note. At a time when female supporting vocalists rarely received recognition, she played a crucial role in shaping the sound that helped launch one of music's greatest careers. Because of their close professional relationship, rumors occasionally emerged about a possible romance. However, unlike many sensational stories attached to Ray Charles over the years, there is no verified historical evidence proving a long-term romantic affair between Fisher and Charles. What is documented is their mutual respect and successful collaboration during a pivotal period in both of their careers. As the music industry evolved, Fisher gradually stepped away from the spotlight. Unlike many performers who sought constant attention, she lived a relatively private life, while continuing to be respected among musicians who understood her importance to soul music's early development. Though history often places greater focus on larger stars, her influence remains woven into the foundation of Ray Charles's success. When Marianne Fisher passed away in 2018 at the age of 77, she left behind a legacy that deserves greater recognition. Her story reminds us that some of the most important figures in music history are not always the most famous. Sometimes they are the voices that helped legends become legends. Etta James. Etta James was one of the most powerful and emotionally honest singers ever to step behind a microphone. Born James Etta Hawkins in Los Angeles in 1938, she transformed personal pain, passion, and resilience into unforgettable music. With classics such as At Last Tell Mama I'd Rather Go Blind and Something's Got a Hold on Me, she became one of the defining voices of blues, soul, and R&B. Her ability to move effortlessly between tenderness and raw intensity set her apart from nearly every performer of her generation. Throughout the late 1950s and 1960s, Etta moved within the same musical circles as Ray Charles, performing at many of the same venues and sharing stages with some of the biggest names in American music. Both artists battled addiction, endured difficult childhoods, and built careers on emotional authenticity. Because of those similarities, rumors occasionally linked their names together. However, despite many dramatic stories repeated online, there is no credible historical evidence confirming a major romantic relationship between Etta James and Ray Charles. What is well documented is Etta's struggle with heroin addiction and the personal battles that repeatedly threatened to derail her career. During several periods, she disappeared from the spotlight while fighting substance abuse and legal troubles. Yet each time she returned, her voice remained as powerful as ever. Her ability to survive adversity became one of the defining themes of her life. Unlike many artists whose talent faded with age, Etta continued performing and recording for decades. She earned 6 Grammy Awards, received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and was inducted into both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Blues Hall of Fame. These honors reflected not only her talent, but also her extraordinary perseverance. When Etta James passed away in 2012 at the age of 73, the music world lost one of its most authentic voices. Her story is not simply about fame or success. It is about survival. Through addiction, heartbreak, illness, and countless setbacks, she continued singing with a level of honesty that few artists have ever matched. That is why her legacy remains timeless, and why her voice still resonates with listeners around the world today. Ruth Brown. Long before Ray Charles became one of the defining voices of soul music, Ruth Brown was already a star. Born in Virginia in 1928, she helped transform Atlantic Records from a struggling company into a powerhouse of rhythm and blues. Her success was so significant that industry insiders often referred to Atlantic as the house that Ruth built. With hit records such as Teardrops from My Eyes Mama He Treats Your Daughter Mean and 5 10 15 Hours, Brown became one of the most influential female artists of the 1950s. Unlike many singers of her era, Ruth combined powerful vocals with remarkable determination. She fought against racism, industry exploitation, and unequal treatment while building a career that inspired countless performers who followed. As Ray Charles began emerging as a major talent, both artists were part of the same Atlantic Records family. They shared stages, recording environments, and the challenges faced by Black musicians seeking respect in a changing industry. Although some stories have suggested a deeper personal connection between Brown and Charles, there is no verified evidence confirming a romantic relationship. What is historically documented is Ruth's admiration for talented musicians and her willingness to support fellow artists. More importantly, she became one of the strongest advocates for musicians' rights. After discovering how many performers had been denied royalties, she spent years fighting record companies to secure fair compensation for artists who had helped build the industry. Her efforts changed lives. The legal battles she helped lead eventually contributed to programs that supported aging musicians who had been forgotten by the business. In many ways, her influence extended far beyond her recordings. When Ruth Brown died in 2006 at age 78, she left behind more than a catalog of hit songs. She left a legacy of courage, leadership, and perseverance. Today, she is remembered not only as a legendary singer, but as a woman who refused to let powerful institutions erase the contributions of Black artists. Her voice made history, but her determination changed it. Della Reese. Della Reese was one of the most versatile entertainers of the 20th century. Born in Detroit in 1931, she first gained national attention as a singer before becoming a successful actress, television personality, and ordained minister. With her rich, commanding voice and natural charisma, Reese built a career that spanned more than 5 decades, earning admiration from audiences across multiple generations. Her breakthrough came in 1959 with the hit single Don't You Know, which sold over 1 million copies and established her as a major recording star. Unlike many performers who remained confined to one genre, Reese moved effortlessly between gospel, jazz, pop, and traditional standards. Her ability to connect emotionally with listeners helped distinguish her from many of her contemporaries. As a respected figure in the music industry, Della frequently crossed paths with artists such as Ray Charles during the height of their careers. While rumors and speculation occasionally linked them, there is no credible evidence supporting many of the sensational stories that have circulated online. What is certain is that both artists shared a deep appreciation for gospel roots and musical excellence. Beyond music, Reese became a beloved television figure. Millions of viewers came to know her through the long-running series Touched by an Angel, where she portrayed Tess, a wise and compassionate angel. The role introduced her to an entirely new audience and cemented her place as one of America's most beloved entertainers. Throughout her life, Reese overcame numerous challenges, including serious health issues and financial difficulties. Yet she remained remarkably resilient, using faith and determination to navigate adversity. Her positive outlook and generosity earned widespread respect both inside and outside the entertainment industry. When Della Reese passed away in 2017 at the age of 86, tributes poured in from across the world. Her story is one of endurance, grace, and reinvention. Whether singing on stage, acting on television, or inspiring others through ministry, she touched countless lives and proved that true success is measured not only by fame, but by the impact left behind. Laverne Baker. Laverne Baker was one of the most dynamic voices of the golden age of rhythm and blues. Born in Chicago in 1929, she emerged during the 1950s as a fearless performer whose powerful vocals and energetic stage presence helped shape the future of rock and roll. Songs such as Tweedledee Jim Dandy and I Cried a Tear made her one of Atlantic Records' biggest stars and established her as a trailblazer for generations of female artists. At a time when Black musicians often receive little recognition for their innovations, Baker stood out through both talent and determination. Her recordings blended rhythm and blues, pop, gospel, and early rock influences, creating a sound that appealed to a wide audience. She sold millions of records and became one of the most recognizable female performers of her era. Like Ruth Brown and Ray Charles, Baker was part of the influential Atlantic Records family, during a transformative period in American music. The artists frequently shared professional circles and contributed to the label's growing success. Although some modern stories attempt to connect Baker romantically with Charles, there is no documented evidence confirming such a relationship. Their historical connection rests primarily on mutual respect as pioneering musicians. What truly defined Laverne Baker was her willingness to challenge injustice. Throughout her career, she spoke openly about the exploitation of Black artists and fought against unfair industry practices. Her advocacy extended beyond her own career and reflected a broader struggle for recognition and equality in music. Despite periods away from the spotlight, Baker eventually returned to performing and received long overdue recognition for her contributions. In 1991, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a fitting acknowledgement of her influence on popular music. When Laverne Baker died in 1997 at the age of 67, she left behind a remarkable legacy. Her voice helped bridge the gap between rhythm and blues and rock and roll, while her courage helped pave the way for future generations. Today, she remains one of the most important and underrated pioneers in American music history. As we reach the end of this journey, one question still lingers. How much of Ray Charles's story do we really know? Behind the legendary music were relationships, choices, and personal struggles that continue to spark debate decades later. Some women found success, others faced heartbreak, and a few carried memories that remained hidden from the public eye. But were these connections truly life-changing, or has history exaggerated their impact over time? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Which woman on this list do you believe had the greatest influence on Ray Charles, and whose story moved you the most? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories from Remembered Lives channel.